Your car suffers a flat tire on the motorway. What should you do? I have to continue driving to the next exit. Turn on my hazard lights and park as far to the right as possible. Place the warning triangle at a distance of about 100 m. Where are you allowed to park on the left in the direction of travel? Where there are rails on the right-hand side. Where parking is prohibited on the right. In one-way streets. You want to let a child out of your car. What should you be aware of when doing so? The child should be warned of possible dangers when getting out of the car. Exit the car on the same side as the footpath. Not have to cross over the carriageway. Your car has a fault and can no longer be driven. What must you be aware of during towing? During towing, the towing cable should be kept as taut as possible. The hazard lights must be switched on both vehicles. The motorway may only be used to shorten the journey to the next car garage. The time on a parking meter has not yet run out. What do? You may only use the time left on the meter when using a parking disc. Not use the time left on the meter. Use the time left on the meter without inserting more money. You are looking for somewhere to park on the right edge of the street. There is no cycle path to the right of your lane. How many meters before and after a junction are you not allowed to park? I activate the child safety lock. I close the windows. I lock the doors. I lock the doors. A car with power steering has broken down with engine damage and must be towed away. What is correct? The steering of the broken down car is considerably heavier, is not impaired, is locked, is considerably heavier. What must you be aware of on this priority road? Parking is permitted if there is a clear space of at least 3 meters between a parked car and the lane marking. You may not cross the lane marking. Parking is prohibited. During twilight or the hours of darkness, when must you have your side lights switched on as a minimum requirement? When driving on roads with adequate continuous lighting. When the vehicle is parked on the hard shoulder outside built-up areas. Where is it sufficient to use your parking lights while your car is parked on an unlit roadway? In built-up areas. In built-up areas. Outside built-up areas. You are looking for a place to park on the right edge of the carriageway. A cycle path runs alongside to the right of the carriageway. How many meters before a junction or an intersection are you prohibited from parking? Driving across the boundary line of the carriageway is prohibited at all times. Slower moving vehicles must use the hard shoulder if possible. It is not permitted to stop to the left of the boundary line of the carriageway. You want to park in a car? Park where there is a parking ticket machine. What must you remember? A parking ticket is never needed when using a parking disc. Place a valid parking ticket in your vehicle, so it is easy to read from outside. Do not exceed the parking time indicated on the parking ticket. Up to what distance is it prohibited to park before or after a bus or tram stop sign? What do you have to be aware of when you see with this traffic sign? May stop to allow passengers to exit my vehicle. May stop to quickly load my vehicle. May not stop. What can red-white warning plates on vehicles indicate? A vehicle with excessive width. A vehicle transporting dangerous goods. A vehicle transporting dangerous goods. When are you not allowed to park on the right-hand lane? If there are rails integrated into the road lane. If there is a suitable parking lane to the right of the road lane. If there is an adequately paved hard shoulder to the right of the road lane. You are driving on a road that has a protective lane for cyclists. How may you use the protective lane? Park on the protective lane. Stop on the protective lane. Drive on the protective lane when necessary. Where is parking prohibited? Immediately behind pedestrian crossings. Before sunken curbstones. At the edge of the roadway if this would prevent others from using designated parking areas. Where must you use a parking disc for parking? In a no waiting area. Where stipulated by traffic signs. At a defective parking meter. What is the minimum distance a vehicle must leave clear in front of traffic lights if the traffic lights would be concealed by the vehicle? What do these traffic signs indicate? No stopping. For trucks only. On the roadway and the hard shoulder. On the hard shoulder only. You stop to allow passengers to exit your vehicle on the right side. A cycle path runs along there. What should you do? I should observe the traffic using my rear view mirror only. I should make sure that no cyclists are approaching. Where is it forbidden to stop? In front of entrances to and exits from property lots. On merging and demerging lanes. On lanes marked with direction arrows. Who is wrongly parked? The dark-colored car. Neither of the two cars. The white car. Where is it forbidden to stop? On any one-way road. In front of fire service access roads. In non-parking zones. What must you remember when towing? The distance between the vehicles must not exceed 5 meters. Motorcycles may only be towed with a fixed connection. Tow rope/tow bar must be clearly marked. What ends here? A no waiting area. All previous zonal prohibitions. A no stopping area. What do these traffic signs allow? Residents holding a parking license with corresponding number may park here. Everybody may use this parking space, as long as other parking spaces are still free. All residents may use any of these parking spaces. Where is parking prohibited? On priority roads outside built-up areas. At the edge of the roadway if this would prevent others from using designated parking areas. On priority roads within built-up areas. You want to park in front of a St. Andrew's cross in a built-up area. What is the minimum distance you must leave clear? What is the minimum distance you must leave clear when stopping or parking in front of a pedestrian crossing? Up to which permissible total mass may motor vehicles be parked on specially designated footpaths? Before which sign must you maintain a distance of at least 10 meters, if it would otherwise be concealed by your vehicle? Diagonal cross. No stopping. Stop. Give way. Who is parked? Anyone who leaves his vehicle. Anyone who waits longer than 3 minutes at a closed level crossing barrier. Anyone who stops for more than 3 minutes. Anyone who stops for more than 3 minutes. Your car has an engine fault and must be towed away with a tow rope. What must you be aware of? When towing an electric vehicle, it is necessary to following the manufacturer's guidelines. Driving license Class B is the minimum required in order to tow a car. A malfunctioning car with assisted steering is difficult to steer. You want to park on the right-hand edge of the road. Who has priority in this situation? No one has priority. We have to agree. I have priority. The blue car has priority. The blue car has priority. Which vehicles are allowed to park here? Vehicles with a permissible total mass of more than 3.5 t. Motorcycles. Vehicles with a permissible total mass of up to 2.8 t. Vehicles with a permissible engage first gear or reverse gear. Who is wrongly parked? Neither of the two cars. The blue car. The red car. When must you switch on the hazard lights on your vehicle? If my vehicle is being towed, experiences a breakdown at a place where the view is obscured, is briefly double parked by me. What is the minimum distance you must leave clear when parking outside a built-up area before a St. Andrew's cross? Where is stopping prohibited? Over manholes and other road covers. Immediately behind pedestrian crossings. On pedestrian crossings and up to 5 meters before pedestrian crossings. I switch on my hazard lights. I closely observe the oncoming traffic before maneuvering into the space. Where is stopping prohibited? Immediately behind pedestrian crossings. On level crossings. You are driving on a road that has a protective lane for cyclists. How may you use? What is allowed in the zone which starts here? Stopping for loading or unloading as well as boarding or alighting. Stopping for up to 3 minutes. Parking, provided a parking disc is used. How are vehicles with a permissible total mass up to 2.8 t allowed to be parked here? Small cars also diagonally to the driving direction. The car as shown in the picture. The caravan as shown in the picture. The car as shown in the picture. What must you remember when you see this traffic sign? Vehicles may not be parked here. Street lighting does not stay on all night. What is permitted where you see these traffic signs? Severely disabled persons with the appropriate numbered parking permit may park here. With a parking ticket from a parking ticket machine park, Automat, anyone is allowed to park here for an unlimited period. With a parking ticket from a parking ticket machine park, automat, anyone is allowed to park here for an unlimited period. What should you do if you see a vehicle with its hazard lights on? I ready myself for hazards occurring. Are you allowed to park here? Yes, as a seriously disabled person with an official parking permit. Yes, briefly for shopping. Yes, as a person accompanying blind persons with an official parking permit. Where is parking prohibited? At taxi ranks. Immediately behind pedestrian crossings. On narrow roadways opposite driveway entrances and exits. What is the maximum length of time you are allowed to stop at a bus stop provided you do not present an obstruction to buses? What must you observe when parking here? The parking time indicated on the parking ticket may not be exceeded. The parking ticket must be put in a place so it can be easily read when controlled. What is allowed at this traffic sign? Parking, provided a parking disc is used. Waiting up to 3 minutes. Where may you park here? On the left and right hand hard shoulders. On the right hand hard shoulder only. On the left hand hard shoulder only. Who has stopped incorrectly? The green car. The blue van. Your car has a fault and can no longer be driven. What must you be aware of during towing? During towing, the rear fog lights should also be switched on to indicate the towing procedure. A towing bar should be used where possible. The force required to operate the brake pedal is significantly greater if the engine has failed. The green car has priority. I have priority. No one has priority. We have to agree. What must you remember when parking a trailer without a truck? The trailer may be parked for more than 2 weeks on specially designated parking spaces. May not be parked for more than 2 weeks on public roads. May be parked for an unlimited period of time on adequate hard shoulders. Where are you allowed to park a trailer with a permissible total mass exceeding 2 t in built-up areas regularly on Sundays and public holidays and between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m.? In special areas reserved for recreation purposes, on sufficiently wide roads. In wholly residential areas, on specially designated parking spaces. In industrial areas. What must you be aware of here? Driving across the boundary line of the carriageway is prohibited at all times. It is not permitted to stop to the left of the boundary line of the carriageway. Slower moving vehicles must use the hard shoulder if possible. Your car is standing on the edge of the roadway. What should you do when getting into the car? The doors on the right-hand side can always be opened without danger. Let passengers get into the car, if possible, from the pavement. Open the doors on the roadway side only when traffic permits. You want to park on the right-hand side edge of the carriageway. How big is the mandatory minimum distance between your vehicle and the solid lane boundary line? What must you do when leaving your car? Secure the vehicle against unauthorized use. Secure the vehicle against rolling away. Before opening the door, look out for traffic behind. You have stopped in a parking strip and now want to exit your vehicle. What must you do in this situation? I observe the traffic approaching from the rear. By glancing over my left shoulder before opening the door. By looking in my left-hand exterior rear view mirror before opening the door. Just by looking through the slightly opened door. When may you remain parked at a parking meter without activating it? To allow people to get in and out of the vehicle. To do some quick shopping. I park now because I have priority. I forego the parking space, even though I have priority. At night, how must you secure a vehicle which has broken down at a place where it constitutes a danger to other traffic? Place a warning triangle at a sufficient distance. Immediately switch on the hazard warning lights. Switch on the reversing lights. Place a warning triangle stopped incorrectly. Both cars. The red car. The yellow car. You experience a breakdown outside of a built-up area. Your car is situated on the carriageway, behind a bend in the road. Which is correct? I have to switch on my hazard lights. Where is stopping prohibited? On the roadway, if there is a sufficiently wide hard shoulder on the right. Between lane dividers when direction arrows are marked on the roadway. At taxi ranks. On the roadway, if there is a sufficiently wide. Because of the motorbike. Because of the cyclist. Because of the pedestrian. What ends here? A no waiting area. Because of the cyclist. Where is parking prohibited? At the edge of the roadway if this would prevent others from using designated parking areas. On priority roads outside built-up areas. On priority roads within built-up areas. What is allowed in the zone which starts here? Stopping for up to 3 minutes. Stopping for loading or unloading as well as boarding or alighting. Parking. Where is stopping prohibited? Near or on sharp bends. At bus stops. Outside parking areas on autobahns and cleaways for motor vehicles only. What do you have to be aware of when you see with this traffic sign? In the area after this traffic sign, I may stop to allow passengers to exit my vehicle. May not stop. May stop to quickly load my vehicle.